So the other day it was nice out and I got outside and I was waving around a broomstick for the intention of creating some sort of futuristic energy sword weapon that I would make using Adobe After Effects because I wanted to learn how to do it in After Effects. The last time I did a video effect was when I was in high school in 2007, and it took me weeks to do. Then it was of mediocre quality because of some conversions I was doing back and forth. So I wanted to try it again using the newer version of the software since I'm trying to learn a few new things. So going into Adobe After Effects was new for me, so I'm going to explain a little bit about what I did. But rather than do a whole tutorial on Adobe After Effects, which most of my students don't have, I want to show you how to do a photo effect of this laser sword weapon, but using something that's free and online. So check out my clip. And that took me all of about 8 hours to do. And then I spent 8 seconds on the audio just making the sound effects with my mouth and then just running it through a guitar amp filter sound effect. But anyways, so let me explain a little bit about the way that I actually went about doing it in Adobe After Effects. So what I'm doing here is I've already kind of worked part of the way through it. So I have what's called a mask that is creating this rectangle that is the white inner core of the energy sword. And then what I'm doing is moving it frame by frame and changing where the corners of that polygon are. And I did a rectangle or a quadrilateral, so I've got 4 corners that I have to arrange just based on how much it's moved on each of the pictures that make up the image. Now I originally recorded this at 60 frames a second, so I did skip every other frame, which is still 30 frames a second. So at about 10 seconds of the clip, that's still a few hundred frames that I had to go through. So here's what it looks like sped up to 5,000% and me working through it. Now, just talking about theory for what this energy sword is, at the core of it, it's usually some sort of a very light or white color. And then around the outside, it's actually glowing a darker color based on whatever type of crystal or, I don't know, however futuristic weapon works. So I'm going to go through, again, that concept is what I did in Adobe After Effects. It's what I do in Photoshop. But let's go through something that I can actually have people able to do at home on even a Chromebook can use this application. So let me explain how you can do that same thing for pictures. So I'm using a website called Pixlr, Pixlr, and I'm using the Pixlr E interface. And we're going to make a new document, but we're going to open an image. So I've already got a picture that I'm searching for behind the screen there. And I'm just looking for a picture of me holding a broom. It's nice to have the broom handle or something to reference just so you know kind of where it would sit. So this is just a still frame from my video. So I'm making a new layer that's going to be empty, and then I'm going to actually trace over where that is with a shape. Make sure you left click, not right click. I'm just going to use the line because I couldn't find a tool in this to make a little triangle. So what I'm doing with this is I'm making sort of a triangle with sort of a flat edge towards the side that it would be going from to create a little bit of a motion trail to this. So that's why I've got this kind of wedge-shaped thing. I'll use the paintbrush or paint bucket to kind of fill it in, and then I'm zooming in because I want it to look better. So I'm going to actually go in and try to brush in the areas that the paint bucket missed. So next I'm going to do an outer glow, and this is where you're going to pick the color of the energy sword. Now, when you pick the color, it's not going to immediately show up. You have to say OK. And it comes in a little dark, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise the feather a little bit and lower the opacity just so it's coming across as more of a light source, not as a solid object of color. So when I did this, I had layer 2 selected, which is going to be what makes it work. And again, layer 2 is just that polygon that was our shape. If you click off of it, you can see the image in its full intensity. And if you want to fiddle with some of the other settings, you can go and try them out. So by clicking the 3 dots next to the layer, it gives you the option to change the transparency a little bit. So I just dropped it down a little bit just to see how that would look. And I thought it looked a little better if I dropped it a little lower. It just didn't pop out as much. And then I started playing with other settings, which I didn't need to do, but I didn't know what they did, so I was playing with them. And then from there, you can go to File and down to Save, and it'll just let you save the picture in whatever file format you prefer. If you do something cool and want to share it with me, you can tag me on Twitter at Levine Education. But if this was an interesting activity and you have ideas for other similar, goofy, weird things, please let me know. Hopefully everyone is enjoying this weather. It was very wonderful to be outside for those 5 minutes it took me to film that, but not the 8 hours it took me to edit. Anyways, have a good one.